All right.
The best part is that's on your captions.
That's just all right. What a way to start. Just Scriv choosing violence.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to season 2 of Tomorrow is Dead. As many of you know, this is pre-recorded, even though it will be premiering live on Twitch at this moment. The chronodynamics of this particular whole thing is irrelevant. Anyway, we're here with the second season of our zombie apocalypse game, and I promise most of these will not have like a long preamble, but this is episode 1, so we have a few acknowledgements to make. First and foremost, this game, unlike season 1, which was done with Kids on Bikes from Hunters Entertainment, this season is brought to you by the Walking Dead Universe RPG by Free League. It was just recently kickstarted, and I got in on that because it was perfect coincidental timing, and it's a great, honestly, it ended up being the perfect system for this, so I'm very excited to share it with all of you, and hopefully inspire some of you to go and grab it yourselves, because it's very cool. I highly recommend it. If you're into this genre at all, you'll love it. This is not a plug for it, just letting you know that's what's happening. It's also not a plug.
It's a really elegantly designed system.
It really is.
Go check it out.
I also want to make sure to acknowledge that many of the sounds that you will be hearing tonight are brought to you by Sirenscape. We have wonderful, horrible sounds to bring to you tonight.
Which we will not be hearing.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So,
can only imagine all the crunching and squelching and screaming and.
I mean, you basically just described the sounds that I will be using, so like to a T. So yeah, thank you, Sirenscape, for your excellent soundscapes and just useful, very useful tools for running tabletop stuff. I would also like to shout out, as many of you notice, a big difference from Season 1 to Season 2 is we've got character art. It's right here on the screen around us. The art is done by Tata, whose information, I'll have their, if you're watching on YouTube, this will be in the description. But if you would like more links to that, they'll also be in the Discord. So we'll put those in there so that y'all can see them. They have done an excellent job with these characters. I was so excited watching them sort of take shape in front of us. So, yeah, check them out. We'll have their links in the description on YouTube and in the Discord. Maybe we'll have a Twitch command as well. This is coming to you from the past, so we'll
I was going to say, future Jonathan, if you're not putting those links in the Twitch chat right now, I will sock you.
Exactly. And of course, speaking of John, for our graphics that you see surrounding us right here, putting together the overlay. So yeah, that's John.
Beautiful.
That's all John. All right. I can't think of any other things that need to be sort of thrown out here. Sure. Yeah. We will go ahead and get into... God, I hope I set up my... there was such a whirlwind of, like, prep that I hope that I set up my stream deck properly. So, we'll see how this goes. All right.
It'll be emotional either way.
Let's jump on in. And we're back. Okay. So, when we left off, the group of our survivors here, in an emotional turn of events, forcing them to leave their bitten and infected friend behind, were able to reach a helicopter, which allowed them to reach safety. Or so it seemed at the time. It has in intervening 3 years, there has been a whirlwind of change. First, an arrival at an evacuation zone, filled with hundreds of other survivors. There were reunions with family members and meeting new people, and unfortunately, losses as well. But the relative safety of the evacuation zone wouldn't last. As with many things in the apocalypse, permanence is now a luxury that few to none can afford. As might have been predicted, the evacuation zone fell, our survivors escaping with a scant handful of military personnel and far too many injured and sick. But they got away. The remains of the evacuation zone, some scattering, others lost, and still more whose fates remain unknown. In the time since then, many other things have changed. But more recently, your group, having founded a small haven of safety within the confines of a university, where you found yourself under the leadership of one Maisel, you started carving out a space of your own, finally accepting that this world wasn't going away anytime soon, and that the only thing to do was to make the best of it, and to try to make a go at survival. However, as with all things in the apocalypse, once again, the fate of your own haven went the way of many things in the apocalypse. We begin 36 hours ago. Gabby, you're on watch. As you sort of walk the fortifications on your patrol, you glance in towards the middle of the stadium, where you can see all the makeshift shelters and buildings that have been set up. You can see from here the sort of warm glow of campfires that are set up, as you see people, very few of them at this point, as it's already, many people have already turned in for the night. You can see a few people still around the campfires chatting. And it sort of brings a vague comfort to you. Even though this new world is nothing like the one that you left behind, there's something almost home-like looking in towards this this collection of amalgamated buildings and small patches of crops and people just conversing around the fires. Suddenly, Gabby, you hear a scream split the night. You turn searching for the source, and you don't have to look long when you suddenly see the thing that everyone, whether they mentioned it or not, dreaded from the moment the walls went up. The dead are inside. Immediately, the camp breaks out into activity as you see just chaos, weapons fire, and screams begin to erupt. Gabby, what do you do?
So someone would have already sounded the alarm. Chances are. Or was I like one of the first to see?
It probably would be. You were probably one of the first, but chaos basically breaks out simultaneously all around the camp.
Yep. So first thing I would do, I would follow the protocol and call in the alarm so that whoever is actually up in the tower can set it up. I imagine our alarm it would be significant for people inside because we're in a stadium.
Yeah, absolutely.
A restructured, rebuilt stadium to serve as our haven.
Somebody would have definitely rigged up something to the old PA system, like the speaker system.
Yeah. So I'll just go into the radio that I've got, code red. Mm-hmm. They're inside.
Yeah. Immediately the alarm starts blaring out, it's right away.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So first thing I would do is what we were trained to do as part of the defense. I'm going to, because ideally if we're on watch, we know exactly who else is there, and we're going to start coordinating the evacuation.
Yep.
As quickly as possible. We're all armed up at all times.
Yeah, exactly. You swiftly begin moving. Before
a steady
long,
stream of curses coming out of my mouth, of course, in true Gabby fashion.
Yeah, you sort of start spreading out, and basically forming your kind of evacuation route, essentially, with many of the militia who were able to quickly get up and going, setting up basically a defense barrier, just laying down sort of covering fire, allowing people to get free. People all over the camp are, in spite of all the training, have quite a lot of them, just the panic of the moment sets in. And yeah, it is chaos right away. Somewhere in the camp you can see smoke starting to go up as a fire somewhere has spread to a building. Gabby, from where you're standing, you hear footsteps running up behind you, and you turn to see Justin Shaw sort of run up next to you. Goes, how the hell did they get in?
I have no idea. I just saw them. They're already in.
Okay, I'm going this way. Says, you got this? You got the spot?
Fast. Move.
Okay. He charges off, kind of in the direction, kind of towards the center of the camp. And as you are sort of holding that spot, you hear another voice from nearby, Gabby! And you turn and you see Zeke doing basically exactly what you told him to do, which is the moment things go bad, find you.
Get to the safe zone.
Yep.
Thank God, because I know I would have him on a different channel. I probably smuggled him a radio that maybe he was or was not supposed to have, because he's my little bro, and he's all I've got left.
So Zeke he's 13, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so Zeke runs up, sort of right next to you.
He's already almost taller than me.
You can see he's holding his knife in his hand, just sort of eyes wide, darting around, looking at the chaos. He says, "What happened?"
They got inside. I don't know why. Stay close.
Okay.
We're getting people out.
All right.
Seeing that he's got a knife, and knowing that I want him to have a little bit more, I am going to hand him one of my grenades.
Okay. Yeah. He looks at it. He takes it.
You don't use this unless you absolutely have to. Remember what I taught you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah?
Alright. Yeah. He like puts it
But
into
stay
like the
close.
little. He has like a little messenger bag.
Leave my sight.
Yeah. Okay. He has like a little messenger bag, and he like tucks it into it, and you recognize like his go bag that you've helped him like, put together, and so, with that,
Big hug.
yeah, with
Just really
that,
quickly.
yeah, he hugs you back, and with that, you and like the other like coordinators in the immediate area start like moving the people that you can towards one of the entrances, kind of away from the oncoming swarm. All around you, you can see in between the buildings as you're moving, like the dead are beginning to kind of close in. You rush forward, leading your group out, and suddenly you're able to see the entrance, where there's another group already there. You can see clearly Casey, who is like ushering people through, coordinating their end of the evacuation. Casey, as you kind of glance around, sort of like pushing people through the gates, you turn and you see Gabby with like a small, like a handful of people running up towards you.
Like, Casey will wave Gabby over. This rat's not fucked yet, so I think, like, just send him that way.
Glad to see you. Glad you made it. Are you good? You have everything you need?
Yeah, no, I keep the backpack full of stuff. Like, it does not leave my sight.
Have you seen anyone else yet? Do you know where the others are?
Not yet. Frankie's probably fine. I thought I heard Maisel earlier.
Was Frankie out on patrol?
I think so. He'll be fine.
Okay.
He'll be fine. He's way more at home out there than he is here.
I don't know what's
okay.
worse, being here or being out there at this point. Doesn't matter. As we're going, I'm gonna like attempt to take little pot shots behind us.
Yeah.
Anytime someone comes, a zombie comes into view.
Absolutely. You'll also notice at like a little ways away, you see like somebody sort of like ushering people down towards the river, towards like where you have your boats, basically everything is like set up and ready for this exact eventuality. Sort of like leading people down, sort of funneling them down, kind of what once must have been a nice like daytime walk for university students is now the lifeline of safety for the people who are escaping from this place. As you are standing, kind of making sure people get out and covering those who are still running from the flame, the now fully, like, the full-on conflagration of the camp. Like, the fires have spread. And looking in, you can see the exact reason why. You see several of the dead who are must have wandered through one of the campfires, who are just like themselves on fire, stumbling into buildings and like setting them on fire, and it's chaos.
Of course. Oh, the smell's gonna be horrible.
It's already bad. Maisel, you and your small group are sort of like rushing through this. There is heavy, thick smoke in the air and ashes that are obscuring your vision. But following the sounds of weapons fire and the direction that you know leads towards the evacuation route, you eventually kind of like break through the thickest parts of the smoke. Next to you is the only remaining member of the actual military besides Shaw, which is Master Sergeant Amy Hall. And she says, "All right, come on, we gotta get to the river." She looks at you, Maisel, and she says, "You got this. I got your back."
Of course. Everybody, this way.
She turns and immediately like steps out of the group and just starts like firing back behind you. She sort of walks backwards a little bit, and you see one of the dead reach out and grab her, and she doesn't even hesitate. She just like reaches down in like a single fluid motion, pulls a knife, and just and then just kind of keeps walking walking backwards. And she says, "Oh shit." You can, as you turn, kind of at that exclamation, you can see the smoke has sort of momentarily cleared, and you see dozens and dozens and dozens of the dead just swarming the camp. You watch as several of them tackle somebody and just like start just pulling them apart. You see somebody struggle to like get up on top of one of the buildings, and just sort of sit there and like, and then at that exact moment, you watch the building just collapse under them as they just sort of go down into this swarm. The smoke once again obscures the area as the wind shifts again, and as you find yourself just sort of standing in that spot, Maisel, just sort of rooted. Hall catches up with you, grabs your shoulder roughly, and just sort of pushes you around. Says, "Hey, come on."
Okay. How many other people are with us?
Right now, just a couple. You have Hall's partner, a nurse, Kai Wilson,
Okay.
and just like one or two other people.
Okay. At this point, I'm gonna get out my pistol and sort of not necessarily like flank with her, but just like also like be ready to like take out anybody that gets through, because it's getting thicker and thicker and thicker. And I'm gonna she's gonna be in the back and I will be in the front, and we'll try to like make our way as fast as we can towards the river.
Okay. Yeah. You reach the group who are sort of gathered outside. Right now it's still just Gabby and Casey who are like making sure that like stragglers get down, kind of routed down the path towards the river. And yeah, Maisel, you approach as Hall says, "So, all right, get down to the river. Go.
Go! Everybody go!"
Hall just kind of sort of turns around and just says, "Okay, there's Shaw. He's coming."
Okay. I will sort of when I see Casey and Gabby there, if they're also with us, I will like I'm going to make sure I get everybody except for me and Hall and Gabby, like even Casey, like out before the rest of us, because Casey is not part of the military.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna like Casey's gotta leave before any of us can leave.
Yeah.
Hey, have you seen Dr. Castle in any of the groups going out? Gabby didn't have them with him, and I didn't see them in mine either.
I haven't seen Dr. Castle. It's really bad in there. The smoke is way too much, and it's too much swarms. If he's gonna get out, he's gonna get out. You have to go.
How many people do you think are still in there? Did anyone do a head count? Zeke,
How
get
many
in the
do we
boat
even have?
now.
I want to stay with you.
Get the boat.
I know
Zeke.
what I
Casey,
said, but
get
get
the
in
boat.
this boat, please.
Casey, Zeke, go get the boat.
Okay, you're gonna y'all are gonna stay here and hold up then? Like, are we waiting
Well,
for
we're
more?
gonna send another group back in. Once everyone here is on the boats,
As much as
I'm
we
going
can.
back in.
As Gabby,
Yeah.
we're gonna stay
We're going
here.
back in. There are
We
some people
cannot-
in there. This isn't even half. This isn't even a third of what we have. Of who
We
is
cannot
in
go
there.
back in. We can't. Look, we can't go back in. The smoke is
Oh,
too
we
heavy.
can.
No matter if we will see, no matter if anyone's alive in there, we will die trying. We cannot do that. Okay? We have to
Well,
take
they
what
will
we come
definitely
to.
die if we don't try. What are you saying right now?
At this point, Shaw has reached the gate, and he has like a couple other people. One of them, he's sort of like supporting Dr. Castle, and he says, "All right, Professor." And the Dr. Castle says, I'm fine. Just old hip, you know." And he like wanders through. He says, he like gives you a quick squeeze on the shoulder, Casey, as he walks past.
Shaw, we have to go back in. There are
Shaw-
too many people who are
his-
back in there trapped.
His eyes flick over to like Maisel and then back to you. He says, it's pretty fucked in there. He says, I'm not sure that... I barely got out.
We can't risk our lives, Gabby. We'll do much better.
What is the point of a defense if we're not actually going to defend? If we're leaving people back in there?
We're defending here.
No,
we are.
No, you can
Gabby.
defend here.
She's right.
We have to
start
go.
walking.
We have. Gabby.
I'm walking back toward.
I will.
Zeke, use that grenade if you need it.
I will run up to and grab Gabby's arm just as like a please, Gabby, please. It's too dangerous in there. There's other evacuation routes. Everyone knows the procedure, not just us.
Shaking you on.
Shaw runs forward and like stands in front of you, Gabby, and says, "Look, we are saving people. Okay, we're saving the people who are out.
We're saving
got
people
out.
that are here.
You hear them screaming.
Without you,
I know
Gabby,
you can hear them.
Yes, I can hear them, but without you, what's gonna happen to those people? What's gonna happen to your brother?"
He's in the boat. There are other people there. Yeah?
And we don't know where they're all coming from. For all we know, they could be heading down the river right now. We don't know where
Gabby,
they're
you're
coming
right.
from.
They got in without us knowing. There's too many of them. The smoke is too thick. We can't see how many are in there.
How did they get in?
I don't
Those
know.
walls were tight.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. Please. Gabby, we need
You're
you.
letting people die. You're condemning them.
Gabby, that's enough. It's the right call, and it sucks.
If you can live with that, fine. I leave.
Yeah. Gabby, you, as you're
I
storming...
know I can't walk through because they're stopping me.
Yeah. As you storm out through the gates, at this point, Frankie, you are just arriving at a scene of chaos. You arrive just in time to hear like the last little bit of that, and Gabby just sort of storming off.
Frankie, we gotta go. The base has been compromised. We have to go. Where did you come from?
Just over there. Just south of the water.
Then that's where we'll go. That's where we'll go to hold up. We need to find a place that is safe and secure. We do. I'm at this point. I'm addressing everybody else. We don't know where they are coming from. We don't know how many there are, and we know that everyone knows where the evacuation sites are. We've been preparing for this. It'll be okay. We gotta go, though. We can stay for a little bit longer to see if anyone else comes to this door, but once we cannot see it past the smoke, we have to go.
All right, Maisel, I'm gonna have you make a leadership roll.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so for everybody watching, this is a D6 pool system. Every character has a certain number of D6s that they roll depending on their skill levels and their relevant attributes. So, Maisel is going to give us a leadership roll here.
Okay, and it is empathy plus leadership, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, so 6 dice. All right, let's go. It's not great, but I got 1 6.
Okay. As your sort of voice goes out, kind of calling to the people assembled here, addressing them, you can see some of the panic start to ebb from some of them as they see you kind of taking charge. A certain amount of reassurance sort of enters their expressions as they sort of immediately set to the work of evacuation. The things that you all trained for and did drills constantly starts to kind of come back into some of those panicked minds as they set to the task at hand. At this point, you see Hall calls out, says, "All right, it's now or never. I don't see anyone else."
Okay.
I was waiting outside the boats just to try to see if anyone else was going to make it through them.
Yeah, you haven't Gabby, you haven't seen anybody come out of the gate since everybody left.
I will, once Hall does that, I will, like, start, I will usher everybody else out and, just, as I pass Frankie, be like, lead us to where you came from. Any place that's safe. I know you.
You don't have to ask me twice.
And then I will usher everybody else out, and then I'm gonna try to at least have me, Shaw, and Hall be the last 3 in there.
Okay.
And close the door.
Yeah. As you, we'll cut to a little bit, like a few moments later, as you guys are getting into the boats, sort of pushing off, heading across the stream to kind of the direction that Frankie came from. And as you kind of glance back, the whole night sky is illuminated by the flames of what only 20-30 minutes ago was home. Which will cut now to present. 36 hours 36 hours later, give or take. And you all have after taking some time waiting at the at the sort of relatively safe location that Frankie had indicated, you headed off towards the rendezvous location where, in the event of any, what has actually happened, everyone is supposed to meet. Maisel, you are keenly aware that the 48-hour mark is rapidly approaching. At 48 hours, that's when the protocol that you all have agreed on in the past, 48 hours is when you move out. With whoever is there, whether anybody else is coming or not, 48 hours is the cutoff. So, currently in the rendezvous location on the banks of the river in sort of a relatively sheltered location, looking east, you can still see the smoke rising black from the location of the university. Around you are a handful of survivors, nowhere close to what you had before.
How many would you say we have?
No more than...
Out of...
Actually, you know what? You'd probably have an exact head count at this point. So you have...
We'd know who was there. We'd know who was missing.
10. You've got about 10. 10. Other than yourselves. Yep.
Out of all of those people, we
Yeah.
have 10.
About a
Out
fifth.
of all of those people who are depending on us, we were able to save 10. I'm saying that out.
Yeah.
At any point when we have that count.
Yeah. It's a total
Great.
of... That'd be a total of 14, including yourselves. A little over a fifth of the original group.
Yeah, and how many do we have in our camp?
They're about 50, 52. Yeah.
Okay.
52 people was your original head count.
Okay.
Shit.
And no one knows what, like, how it happened. There's no... Place was locked up. Pretty tight. How did they get in? I don't get it.
I was asleep. I heard the alarms. I got up, I moved, and there they were. Everywhere.
There had to have been a serious breach somewhere that we missed for them to get in that quickly. Did we have fucking sewers that we didn't know about? It was a stadium. We don't have...
We've been here a while.
After all that time. Fuck. we could have brought more.
Basil is not going to participate in this conversation and is instead like I don't know where we are, but is like doing her best to sort of like alleviate everybody else's tension as much as she can. Is sort of like, instead of like this for the last 36 hours she hasn't like speculated or talked about anything, or it has just been making sure that everybody who's been injured gets treatment and has everybody who's been like is worried or anything is trying her best to like ease their discomfort as best as she can. And notably hasn't mentioned or talked about any sort of speculation about what just happened.
Yeah. Shaw is sticking pretty close, Maisel. Not trying to engage you in any kind of conversation or anything like that. Mostly just trying to help you kind of keep order, keep people calm. Shaw says, he kind of like leans in close to you, Maisel, while this conversation is happening. He just says, we gotta think about what comes next. It's like, it's already late in the year, and we just lost a whole lot of our crop. Everything we were counting on for the winter, and everything we've seen so far tells us it's gonna be a rough winter.
I agree. I was already worried about it before everything. I have a plan, maybe. Bad plan. We got some intel not long ago about a potential bunker that we could have found and raided.
Wait, you're not talking about that crazy prepper place we heard about, right? Shit. I guess we are that desperate now.
We weren't before, and I would have never said that we should go there. It's also probably crawling with dead, but we don't have any of the supplies to last us. We got our go bags, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's the only place I know of.
Well, I think right now we gotta keep people moving. We gotta give them something to focus on. I'm gonna maybe see if we can... Maybe I'll grab Frankie and we'll go see if we can scout ahead and see what the routes are ahead of us.
Sounds good. I will keep making sure everyone's ready to go. We've got a few hours left, and then we'll head out. How many walkies do we have left?
Not many. Hall's got one, you've got one, and he says, I have this one, but, and he holds it up and you can see where it's just, like, it, like, is sort of, like, the housing for it, like, the casing of it is kind of, like, smashed a little bit. He's like, not sure exactly what kind of condition it's in right now, but, yeah. So not a whole lot.
Don't we, I will hand him mine. Be like, I don't want you to go out without one. So contact Hall if anything happens. You can have mine.
Okay, he hands you his. He says, maybe somebody here can do something about this.
Yeah. I'll ask.
Frankie!
Yeah. I'm on my way.
Let's take a look. Let's see what we got ahead of us.
Do you have some eyes? Binoculars?
He kind of like looks over, like looks into his bag, which is not, as you might note, his actual go bag. It's just sort of like what it seems like it's whatever he could grab. And he just sort of shakes his head and says, "No, I left mine behind."
All right. That's all right. Hopefully, we'll just find another set while we're out there.
Yeah.
sometime.
All right. With that, Shaw and Frankie take a quick scouting excursion to scout the path ahead. Yeah, what's up?
Lucas, did you say that Shaw was like supporting somebody who was injured on the way out?
He was supporting, Professor Castle. He was, who's not doesn't look injured. Like in the time since you've been able to tell that he pretty much just rolled his ankle, mostly is what happened.
Okay. Cool,
That
cool.
said, there are injured amongst the survivors here. A lot of like smoke inhalation. There's a lot of like bruises from where they fell or scraped themselves. There's like one pretty deep laceration from like some debris. That would be.
I think Casey would be helping Kai with that because she has a set of medical supplies, and I think she's been like we talked about. I think she's been working with with the nurse.
Yeah, for sure. Currently, the two of you are looking at the pretty nasty laceration of one Demian Vergara. Demian is he's like late 30s, early 40s. Sort of his hair has gone sort of like a steely gray. Generally a like pretty affable individual. But you can see where like he has like a pretty nasty laceration on his leg from from debris. And as Kai's looking it over, they look at him and go, "A few more inches and this would have hit the femoral artery. You're pretty lucky there." He says, "I gotta tell you, I don't feel particularly lucky."
I think if Maisel is anywhere nearby, Casey would just be like, "Hey, Maisel?
Yeah.
Odds on a fire, just a little one, so we can boil some water."
Sure, we can have a fire, a small one. I mean, is it daytime or is it nighttime?
It's daytime, yeah.
Then that's no problem.
Okay. We need something just without smoke, some sterile water to clean this out. Otherwise, listen, I would have maybe rolled the dice before, but antibiotics are in real short supply, bud.
He nods. He says, "Listen, if whatever you can do," says, I don't want to slow anybody down."
All right. I
Zeke
think
is probably
Casey-
there helping as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he's been learning and trying to get at it.
Yeah, I'll say that at this point, then, like, what Zeke does is, like, goes and, like, collects some water from the river, brings it up, as
With
others
the buddy,
sort of...
he doesn't go by himself.
Yeah. Sort of with
no
others
one
as
goes
you're...
by themselves.
Yeah. For the sake of this, I'm just going to go ahead and say, Freeman, why don't you go ahead and give me a scout roll? And you can take an extra one, because Shaw will be helping you. Take an extra die for that.
Oh, and no, was there stress to that? Are we?
Oh,
are we
yeah.
in kind of like a.
So...
We all have
That's
yes.
a good question.
Everybody... I didn't bother with it in the moment within the flashback, because obviously flashbacks, but right now, yes, there is in fact, everybody has 1 point of stress currently.
You get stressed. You get stressed. Look
Well,
at
let me
your
roll the
chair.
stress one now. So far, no successes, but maybe something terrible will happen.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. Sorry.
Don't say that.
Oh.
Okay, so no successes?
We're good. No successes though.
Okay. Alright, you and Shaw...
Rolled a lot of 2s.
Yep.
Me too.
You and Shaw take some time scouting ahead. You don't have... it's difficult to... because you don't want to range too far away from the group. So finding useful information already has a limit put on it. But basically what you're able to determine is that given the coordinates that Maisel has for this bunker, you're looking at probably like I'm gonna say, actually, let's put it this way. Let's do this. You and Shaw are sort of standing on a bluff, kind of like looking out over the what was once Highway 9, kind of looking kind of northwards through a sort of very sort of hilly, mountainous kind of area. And as you are kind of looking in that direction, Shaw is just sort of looking at his map. We're looking at a maybe 70-mile trek as the crow flies, and we got injured, and not a whole lot of supplies.
I think we should keep not moving now, but I think we should keep looking around. There's got to be some kind of nook somewhere.
Well, looking at the map, pretty much nothing along this way. Kind of gestures towards the 9. Pretty much nothing up this way, which is maybe good, maybe safer, less likely to have the dead swarming that way. But kind of like points, says this way, and kind of gestures along the Highway 50, kind of going in kind of the opposite direction. Says we should be able to get this way as well, but and there might be more places to scavenge along the way, but also means, you know, wherever there used to be people, now there's well, not people.
I say we go for the safer route. I have some things, I have some supplies I can share with everyone else.
I've got a little
I've
too,
gone
but
with a lot less.
yeah, I've got a little bit. I managed to get some of the MREs that we found a couple months ago. Managed to stockpile a couple of them, but I mean, even still, we're looking at minimum. We're looking at 3 days, and that's if we keep a good pace. And looking at some of the people we pulled out of there, I don't think we're going to be able to keep that.
I think as always, I will defer to you. I don't have necessarily the training. Just been learning from experiencing the apocalypse. So.
Yeah. Could do with a little less experiencing the apocalypse these days.
Well, here's something then to add to your experience. And Frankie's gonna rifle through his bag and pull out a bottle of moonshine. Found this while I was out.
I thought you were gonna say, I've been brewing this.
Why?
You know, says,
Frankie would be a moonshiner.
he looks at you and just says, right, he says, you know, he takes it from you, says, he sniffs it, goes, whew.
Can use that to sterilize wounds.
Kinda wish, not gonna lie, kinda wish this was a cheeseburger.
Yeah, I wish it was a pizza, like one of those real like all meat stuffed pizza from yeah.
Yep. He just takes a quick little. Oh, here, you could keep that.
Yeah. No,
Maybe if we
I don't
need to
know.
strip paint off of something, we can.
Never know. Or blow something up, set fire to something, sterilize a wound. Maybe I don't know.
Oh, that thing. I mean, that'd do it. That will kill absolutely anything in anybody's cut. Oh, whew. I think we're gonna be feeling that one for a while. All right.
Can I ask you something before we head back to the group?
Sure.
How do you feel about what happened? The Haven.
He shakes his head. He says, "I don't really know what to think. Every time I think about it, I just keep going over and over in my mind. How the hell did they get in? We don't really have any There's no way to know. But I don't know, I just got this feeling like maybe that's just the way things are now. Maybe it's always just a matter of time.
Or maybe someone did it on purpose.
Who would do... I mean, none of ours would do that. You think
That's
somebody...
a lot of people. You're saying you know every single one of those people in there, like, in and out, and all of their motives? It's a lot of people to keep track of.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Here's what I know. I trust my group. I trust Maisel. I trust Gabby. And Casey. And myself. And you. That's why I'm having this conversation with you. Don't trust a whole lot of them.
I get it, yeah. Can't even say I entirely disagree. I just don't see any of them doing this. I mean, there's no good reason for any of them to do it. Accidentally, maybe. Somebody slipped up on securing everything. It's possible, but if that's the case, then it's equally likely that whoever is responsible, if that's what happened, didn't make it out themselves. Statistically speaking.
Did not take statistics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just sort of like looks down, just shakes his head after a moment and just sort of claps you on the shoulder and says, "Come on, let's get back and tell him what we found before I go blind from that shit you just gave me."
10-4.
He just goes, don't do that. Don't say that.
Yeah, Frankie was just a little bit like trying to just be a little bit sassy, you know, just
I was about to say,
Well,
that's a rare sass from
Just a little bit of
I like
an
it. I like it. We are all a few years older now. He's grown sass and moonshine.
I should remember this character is like 20 something, like or 20, 21.
Yeah, we're like 20.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the three of us are 21, and then you're 20, Gabby.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the bab. Okay.
You're the bab. Yes, you are the bab.
Makes me even angrier.
Yeah, I think Shaw and I will head back then.
Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, coming back with little other than speculation about your potential routes. But you head back to the rest of the group. I think it's a little early, but I think right now might be a good opportunity to hit our break. So I think we're gonna do that. So we're gonna go take a short break, and we will be right back. We'll see you in about 10 minutes or so.
Serious.
And we are back, I think. Hold on. Yes, okay, cool. Yes, we are back. All right.
Get that out of now. We're supposed to be serious.
We're supposed to be serious and sad.
Yeah.
We're all very emo.
Full of anger and regret.
A thing that I realized, Scriv, sorry, I realized I should have figured this out beforehand, but I just realized that your captions broke. So I will send you another link.
Oh no. What?
Yep, here you go.
It's okay. Happens all the time.
It happens all the time.
Me too.
I wonder if
Yours did. Oh yeah, yours did too. Holy shit. Okay.
when did
It's just
they clearly it was after Funky Balls, but before.
Okay, we can fix this bit in post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably will not be doing that. Anyway,
We could and we won't.
we could and we won't because I will not remember to do that. So anyway, when we left off, the group was recovering from their the fall of their haven, and trying to chart their next move. And I think that is there anything anybody wants to do while still sort of waiting on that 48-hour mark?
I think at some point, like Casey, I think would have been doing similar to Maisel, like checking in with everybody, making sure that like rations were evenly distributed among everybody, and that like our supplies were as well. That making sure that people who had like lost things or who didn't like have completely packed go bags had like everything they were gonna need for whatever trip we have to. Because Casey doesn't know how far it's gonna be yet. I think that information rests exclusively with the military folks in Maisel right now. And so they've kind of just been like running around and doing a lot of that. But I think at some point they probably would have heard about a busted up radio, maybe from like Ronnie or something.
Yeah. Yeah. That is an interesting point. So sorry, I just realized I'm looking at trying to figure out who has rations. Basically nobody, but Shaw has four MREs. That's enough for 4 people to eat for one day, or a little, like basically 4 people's worth of rations for a day, and that's pretty much it. Like the professor and Camilla both each have one as well. So there's not a whole
Would we not
lot.
have had maybe some like emergency rations in our go bags?
I mean, pretty much what
It's
you
something
have
we haven't
on
really
you is,
decided.
yeah, what you have on you is what you've got. But what I will say is this: as you're sort of like messing with things, yeah, Ronald Green, who was sort of the unofficial engineer of your haven, he is sort of a middle-aged, just very techie individual. Kind of, I sort of picture him with like red hair that is this sort of like kind of balding, like kind of got like the male pattern baldness a little bit, like receding hairline and like that whole thing. And he says, walks up to you, Casey, and says, "I heard something about a busted up walkie."
Yeah, I think Shaw's got fucked up in the escape. Think you could take a look at it?
I think so. I also was going through the things that I grabbed. I was in my workshop at the time when everything happened, and I grabbed what was around me. So I've got some tools here, and also this. So a thing that you, Casey, know about Ronnie here is that he's a bit of like a radio nerd, and as such like collected a lot of things. One of those things was one of the like hand portable kind of like hand radios, like World War II, like kind of like really vintage kind of or not. Yeah, where like the kind that they have in like these huge backpacks and shit, where they would, he's basically got like one of those. It is heavy, it is clunky, and it works kinda. But you can see as he's like showing it to you, like he's shown it to you before, but he says, "I honestly don't even remember grabbing this, but I have it. I'm not sure how useful it'll be, especially," he kind of like gestures around at like the mountainous area. He says, "But
I mean, if we get some elevation, maybe we can like pick up somebody or something, or if there's any waves out there to catch." Also, I just need to make it clear that we're like, I think before all of this happened, I probably would have called you a huge nerd, but I used to build computers, so like I really can't talk.
No, you can't.
well, who'd have thought that the useless skills that we picked up throughout our lives would come to save us when it all ended?"
Absolutely vital. I'm sure we can figure out something. Like,
At worst case scenario, he sort of like, you could see he just sort of like hesitates as he sort of seems to be fighting himself to say these next words. He says, "Worst case scenario, we might be able to take some parts from the hand radio, from the wired radio here that I've refurbished, and
last resort, all right?
Yeah, yes, last resort. Let me take a look at that." He grabs the walkie from you and starts kind of like messing with it.
Yeah, I think Casey's just gonna like sidelong, like when Ronnie starts working on that. I think she's just gonna look around and like see if she can spot where Maisel's at.
Mm-hmm.
Depending, Maisel's probably through most of this once Shaw and Frankie once Shaw and Frankie left and she handed the radio over to Casey, was probably like discussing like the future plan and like with Amy Hall about like what the next plan is, and like just sort of telling Hall about what we're doing and like what Hall thinks about like how we can get everybody going and like how long we think it's gonna take and like things like that, and just sort of really hammering out the plan as much as we can.
Looking at over it all, Hall says, It's gonna be a rough trek. I say we get everybody moving as soon as we hit that 48-hour mark. We get everybody up and we just go. We push and we don't stop until we get there.
Okay. I'm only a little worried about that based on the amount of rations we have. But I do think that if we do make any pit stops, it shouldn't be for long, and it should only be not very many people at a time. But if we're going to be there for a week or less, we don't have enough food for everybody, even to get there.
She kind of like looks around, and you can see as she's like she's like her eyes are going to every single one of the of those who are around. As she sort of like, you can tell she's making like mental calculations. She just shakes her head and says, "At our best, even at half rations for everyone, we don't have it."
No.
Best thing I can say then is we just try to scavenge along the way, see whatever we can find, but that's going to put us in some risky situations.
I know.
Have we been able to do any sort of hunting over the however many months? Like, what's the state of wildlife?
Yeah, I mean, wildlife tends to avoid the dead even more than people do, as their instincts are survival instincts are much better suited to that kind of thing. So they tend to be pretty scarce at the at least within the proximity of the university, as it was like basically in like previously populated areas. They were pretty scarce, other than scavengers and things like that. But as far as any kind of like big or even medium-sized game, almost nothing.
Sorry, I just wanted to.
Yeah. We can say actually that, like, for the sake of this, that Frankie and Shaw are back for this, because you'll have that kind of information about the road ahead. Shaw says, he kind of points to the map, says, if we go straight north on the 9, it's a straight shot pretty much, almost all the way, but we're gonna have to, there's not much along that way. Not a whole lot of places we can stop and scavenge. And given that it'll be it's basically a dust bowl up that way, as far as wildlife goes, birds maybe, prairie dogs, nothing that's gonna keep us going for too long. And besides, the energy that we'll expend trying to hunt might not be worth it. It might be safer, as far as the dead are concerned.
Well, as long as we avoid larger... We could either try to go for one of the larger towns and get as much as we can with a small party, or find as much small stations along the way and get as much as we can from them and scavenge with hopefully less risk, but there's gonna be risk no matter what, and I would hate to get out of that and have people have to choose between walking and eating.
And if I'm already scouting along the way while we're going, I might as well find food or anything that we could use as we go along.
Frankie, go ahead and real quick, just give me a quick survival roll.
For sure. Character sheet, where'd you go? Oh, I'm pulling the... I need to not use the stress dice as a stress ball. Or maybe I should. Maybe I'm charging it with good energy. Okay.
Sure.
Sure.
Dice.
Oh gosh. You said survival?
Survival, yep.
Survival and wit.
Correct.
Let's see here. Let me make sure I'm rolling all the dice for this, because this is my thing. It's a lot of die.
It is.
Oh, and is it stress too? Sorry.
Yeah, and a stress.
Yep. Okay, well I got one success.
Okay. Looking at the map, there is sort of another option, which functionally is the same as one of your existing options, which is traveling along along Highway 50, the more like potentially dangerous route. But a particular feature of the 50 is that the river that you are currently next to, currently on the banks of, actually goes most of the way following the 50. Like most of the way on your path, like the 50, and then of course turning north on the what is that, 24? Yeah. So like it basically like goes almost all the way in your direction. So like it would be a little bit of an exertion since you'd be paddling upriver, but but also might allow you to avoid if there are in particular like knots and clusters of the dead along the way. Might make it harder for them to get to you.
Above
I
table
have
river
thought.
means fishing too.
That's what Frankie was just about. So we
Casey's
take
not
the-
here, but
What if we just take the? What if we follow the 50 along the water? In the water, rather. There's a lot of There's fish. There's also a lot of edible plants that grow in the area by water and bogs. So
It's not a bad
That's
idea.
fair. That's very fair. Plus, people don't have to walk for as long, and they don't have to use as much energy.
Make use of this. Gabby's not there either, but
Also,
What?
sorry,
in your head.
to be very specific, this is the Arkansas River.
okay.
Question about our boats. What are they?
They're basically a variety of things. Some of them are like whitewater rafts, some of them are canoes, some of
Cool.
them are like it's a variety of things, basically whatever you could cobble together.
Like, they're not, like, there's no, like, they're all, like, person powered. There's no, like,
Pretty much, yeah.
okay, cool. Just,
No
I wanted
engine
to,
that requires fuel or anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, they're all
And
yeah.
also, are they all made out of wood and flammable materials, or are they metal canoes?
It's one of each. So there's one metal, one wood canoe, and then there's like a whitewater raft.
Okay.
Inflatable.
Yeah.
That's so precarious, but alright.
That's what you got.
What's we got? Okay.
Yeah.
We raided the outdoor rec
Yeah.
center in like the university area. That's all that was left.
Pretty much, yeah.
And a
There's-
paddleboard. Weird.
Yeah. The raft obviously is much larger than the canoes. So like you can get honestly the largest concentration of people is going to be in the raft probably.
Okay. Yeah, we could put, I think, probably put the metal one in front, and then the raft in the middle, and then the wooden one at the back. Just so that the majority of people can be in the middle and at least safe as much as they can be. I think that's not a bad idea. Plus, if we really need to, we could maybe cook and disinfect things on the metal one.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about running out of water as long as we purify it.
Yeah. Some water boiling. Okay. I think that's what we'll do. We'll go up the river until we can't anymore and make our way there and reassess based on anything that happens.
Looking at the map, you can see that the closest, like, there is along the way a small town that the river goes through, Canyon City.
Yep.
So like that is also a possibility for any sort of scavenging scenarios. And there's a few other places that it goes through along the way, but that's much further up.
I think, yeah. We could make a pit stop at Canyon City if we need to. Keep everyone that's not going on the excursion in the water, where hopefully it's safe, and only have a small party go in and try to find some rations. Be able to evade the
Yeah.
dead easier.
Hall
Yeah.
nods.
That's
It's the best plan we've come up with so far, I think.
Okay. Then I guess it's time to rally the troops. How many hours until 48 hours is up?
You are coming up on the last 10 hours.
Okay.
Or the last 5 hours.
Okay. Cool. anything we need to make sure that we do before we leave, or is I talked to the 3 people that I'm talking to, or is it everyone get as much rest as they can and then head to the boats?
Shaw shrugs, says, "Your call, Chief."
All right. I think we can do as much as we can. Let's make sure everybody's as patched up as they can be, and then let's rest. Maybe take a load off for a few hours, and then if it's just us, then let's start making the boats ready and head out to Canyon City.
Hall nods. We'll get it done. Alright. So, Gabby, what are you doing during this time?
Keeping watch.
Okay.
Because we are not in a safe place. There is
No.
a very, very large concentration of the dead relatively nearby to us.
Yeah.
And knowing that the only other 2 or 3 people who would be able to defend are busy with other things, I am on defenseman.
Yeah.
Zeke is safely helping the wounded along with Casey and Nurse Kai. So I have been needing some time away to my own thoughts. And I am defending and keeping an eye on this room. We have a small enough group, so I will very begrudgingly admit to myself that 10, or 14,
14.
is probably easier to defend than 50. When we don't have walls.
So, at this point in time, I'm gonna say that, sorry, John, was there something else that you wanted to do?
I think after the meeting dismisses, I think Casey would go to get the scoop from Hazel.
Okay. Yeah.
And if Ronnie's done with the radio, he'd bring that. Or yeah, they'd bring.
I
that
think
with them.
I think he'd just be starting on that. So, yeah.
I think
yeah.
Casey would just leave and sort of rib him a little bit. Yeah, I expect a limerick when I come back about radios.
I will not be doing that, but he says, the written word was never my strong suit. Radios make sense. Meter, not so much.
All right. I was also just looking at his NPC thing that had a poet on there.
Yeah, he's you know that he's being modest saying this. Yeah.
Yeah. Casey's like, I've heard you at open mic night.
Well, I apologize for that.
Hey, no apology necessary, man. Looking forward to the next one. Casey just punches him on the shoulder and then walks over. So I think on their way though, they'll just kind of.
No, go ahead.
I think they turn to head away, and before they walk over to Maisel, I think they just kind of set themselves behind a tree and look down at their hands for a moment and just okay. And then she'll take just 30 seconds there before she heads over to Maisel.
Okay. All right. I will say that in that particular interaction, you get the factual stuff from Maisel pretty quickly as she sort of gives you the basic scoop for what the plan is going to be heading forward. Before you kind of maybe turn to other matters.
All right, it sounds like the best plan we've got.
Tragically, but yeah. Gotta figure out the, I don't know if we can, but I want to connect at least the boats together, so just in case anything goes wrong, we'll all still be stuck together. But that's something that we can figure out, and then just hopefully not too long of a road to Canyon City, so.
Yeah.
That's what we got ahead of us. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go and tell everybody about that in a second, but,
Do you want a hand? I'm not doing anything right now. Ron's working on the radio. I told him he owes us a poem about it, but I don't know if we're getting one.
it would be nice to have something else to think about, but I get it. I'm sure I was just gonna make like a general announcement about it and be like, this is the plan. Everybody take a nap if you need to, or get ready and then head to the boats when you're ready and once the 48 hours are up. But I don't know, it might be better. I thought that might be more official sounding than going to every single person. But, I mean, I'd rather you get some rest if you need it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good enough. Have you, like, stopped moving anytime since?
No, not really. I mean, to sleep for a little bit, but I've mostly just been poring over what we do next, because, well, everyone needs something to latch onto. Can figure out what else needs to be done when we're at least on the move.
Yeah, I mean...
I was hoping that take maybe like a small break for like 2 hours or something. Maybe take a nap before
Hazel?
we head to the... Yes?
Yeah, go take a nap. I'll let everybody know what's going on.
I just feel like it should come from me. I don't know. And I don't know how everyone... I don't know how everyone feels about everything, but I don't want it to seem like everything is different now, completely.
Yeah. Fair enough. Just anything I can do, you know?
Thanks. I mean, just making sure, taking a rest yourself, for one. 2, making sure everybody's tended to. Thank God Frankie thought of the river. I was really worried about having to get everybody to walk for 5 days.
Yeah, I wasn't excited about that. If I'm being perfectly honest.
No. Everyone's a little bit injured, and we have no food. Not that anyone else needs to know that. But
I'll keep that one on the down low. Actually, you know?
yeah, that would be great. That I would appreciate that, honestly. Don't need people to panic any more than they're already panicking.
It's a work in progress, as it were. We're putting together a 5-course meal. The 5-course meal being the 5 places on the map that we're...
I like it. That's definitely the PR move there.
Hey, that's why you keep me around, you know?
I'm really glad y'all are safe.
Me too.
I only found Hall, and I was really worried. Really worried.
I ran into Gabby pretty early on, but and I knew Frankie would be okay. was frankly afraid that you might have run into a burning building after somebody, so...
If I didn't run into Hall first, maybe. But she's really intimidating.
Yeah, she's terrifying, actually.
At that exact moment, you can hear Hall, like, sort of like chewing somebody out. If you put this in here, it's going to sink. Move it to that one now.
Yeah, so...
And man, I think actually maybe the worst thing about all of this is that it's going to be weeks of Hall without coffee.
I didn't think about that, and now I'm terrified. But yeah, I'm just not gonna think about it. I'm speculating about what happened. It's not gonna do anyone any good, so not even gonna think about it.
I know. I mean, for what it's worth, I'm pissed, but not at you. It just sucks.
If you are pissed at me, I'm not. That's okay.
We've known each other our whole lives. You know I'm incapable of being angry at you.
It's not true. But...
You're right. I can't stay mad at you is the thing, because most of the time it's because you're right. And you made the right call. Maybe none of us are here this morning if you didn't.
That's what I gotta keep telling myself, at least, so... I hope Gabby's okay. Or will be. They don't have to be anytime soon. That's okay. Okay, I'm gonna go tell everybody what's going on. And then I'm gonna go, be by myself for a little bit.
I think Casey will, like go for a shoulder punch, but I think we'll instead just go in for a hug.
Yeah, I think, that would be, yeah, Basil's very happy about a
hug. With this, count as a moment aside with our PC anchors for alleviating stress.
Absolutely. So go ahead and the two of you can clear your stress. I'm gonna say we're gonna jump to it's a little less than 2 years ago, Maisel, as you are sitting in what passes as your room within this like old truck station that y'all have like sort of fortified, and you hear just sort of like a knock at the door. You look up and you see Shaw standing in the doorway.
Go and open it. Hey, what's up?
You can see, like, he looks over his shoulder as he, like, pushes his way inside and closes the door behind him. He says, okay, look, we don't have a lot of time.
What's wrong?
Major Thomas is pushing to go and get to, like, he wants to go after that weapons depot.
What?
I tried to talk him out of it, but he's dead set. Look,
okay, and...
And if he goes through with it, you know as well as I do that a lot of people are going to die. We don't need to be doing this. Right now, we need to be focused on just keeping the people we've got here alive. And he's convinced the best way to do that is to get a hold of those weapons at the depot. But, Maisel, people listen to you. If you said something, if you stood up, if you said the word, I know, people would follow.
mean, I just... Really? I mean, I agree with you. It's a fucking dumb idea, but he's the commander of everybody. And I'm not a military person.
But people listen to you. You help people. You are the reason that they have any of the things that they need today. People are scared. They want somebody. They're following the Major only because they're following him because they need somebody who knows, who has a plan. They need somebody to reassure them that there is a way forward. But they're not following him because they like him. They're not following him because they want him in charge.
Fair. What do you want me to do? Like, talk to him? Talk to everybody? Talk to...
I think we're past the point of talking to him. I've known him for a while, and he was good. He was friends with my dad. I've never seen him like this. He's losing it, Maisel. He thinks we're fighting a war. We're not. We're trying to survive.
Okay.
Right now, we need somebody to step up and take charge away from him if it has to be.
And hold on. And she just is gonna sit down. And I want to help. I do. I want to help, but am I really the right person for this? I'm a 19-year-old kid who has no idea what anything is going on, and I've just only ever wanted to help. You found us in the dire of straits, and we couldn't even...
Look at everything you've done since then. You're not the same kid that I met. You're not... At that moment, there's another knock on the door, and he turns, and you see Major Vance Thomas, who, like, he's sort of sitting there looking in. Shaw opens the door. He says, "We're getting ready to go, Shaw. You gonna be ready?" Shaw kind of like looks at you, Maisel, and like sort of searchingly, and you can see there's a moment where he doesn't see what he's looking for in your face, and he just sort of, "Yes, sir, I'll be ready." Good.
Yeah.
And he looks at you, Maisel, and says, "I'll see you when we get back."
Okay. Be safe, please.
Major Thomas looks at you, Maisel, and kind of gives you there's a sort of his sort of trademark steely-eyed expression, but even within that, looking back on this moment, you see it clearly. Sometimes you still dream about it, but you can see underneath his steely demeanor, a broken man, and one who is careening ever closer to destruction. We'll cut back to present. As you are... The 48-hour mark has come and gone.
Okay.
Your group has loaded up into the boats, and you are currently paddling up the river. Yeah, what's up, Freeman?
Oh, sorry, my stupid brain just heard you say currently and heading up the river.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Frankie's gonna die. Episode
Frankie,
1.
you broke the stream of thought. Easy now.
God damn it. Well. Anyway,
Ooh, can I be in the boat up ahead?
yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking at least probably Frankie, Casey to doing like water and like purifying and like food and shit in the boat up ahead, because that's if it's the steel boat or the metal boat, and then either Shaw or Hall, whoever wants to be there as well.
Okay.
And
I'll
then
be in the rear.
yeah, I was thinking that Gabby would be in the rear. Maisel will. I just realized that this is will also be in the rear.
You don't want to
And
be in the middle?
nope.
Okay.
Yep. Basil is trying to keep everybody safe and is not trying to be like, I need to be kept safe. There's a whole thing, but you know, it's fun. And then probably Hall also in our boat, in the rear, and then Zeke and everybody else in the middle. Unless there's also like other room in. I don't know how big the canoes are, but if
Yeah, the canoes
Yeah.
are probably big enough to have like max like maybe 5 people, maybe,
okay,
and that's
And
kind of
how-
it's a little it's pushing it a little bit, but
okay. So yeah, we'll do.
you know what? Honestly, the metal one might be like, or sorry, the wooden one might be like an 8-person canoe. So
Okay, then we'll have more people in the back. Then we'll have, I think, we'll have 5 people in the back. So I think we'll probably put the engineer in the back with us.
okay.
And
Demian is still the most seriously injured of everybody, and he's gonna have to go on the raft.
yeah. And then just looking at people that are. I'll also keep Zeke on the back with us to be with Gabby, and then everybody else can be in the middle.
Yeah, sounds good. You all paddling upriver. You make some decent progress. By the end of the first day, you are starting to see up ahead of you the sight of buildings looming on the river up ahead. As you are traveling up, Frankie, you're in the front. The front. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
You definitely see the buildings first as they start looming up over the horizon, and kind of double checking, looking at the map. You can tell that this is Canyon City coming up.
Ooh, okay. Very nice. We're getting close.
Shaw kind of like on the walkie, Maisel sort of like says, "How do you want to play this? Do you want us to paddle all the way in, pull off on the shore somewhere, or stop beforehand, get everybody out?"
I think stopping beforehand and seeing if we can pull up and be close enough to the shore, and then have a small party go into the city.
He nods and says, "There's a little town just before we get there called Brookside. Should be able to find something to hole up in there."
Great. That amount of, if there is any dead, that amount with us, we should be able to take care of.
Understood. Okay. So before too long, you all have the boats kind of pulled up onto shore. Nick, sort of like burly, 20-something, sort of is helping Kai get Demian out of the out of the raft. He has his leg thoroughly bandaged, but his mobility is pretty bad at the moment. As you guys are sort of like getting up, Kai walks over to Casey after getting Demian situated, and they look at you, Casey, and just shake their head. It's not looking good. We need to get him some proper medical treatment at some point, and somewhere where he can actually get real rest, or he's not going to make it.
So we're gonna stop somewhere for a while. How long do you think?
She kind of looks over her shoulders. Hard to say, but he's losing strength pretty quickly, and the journey on the river is far from. I mean, it's better than what would have been walking, but it's not going easy for him. He's not able to get a whole lot of good rest.
Maybe we can find somewhere to hole up here while they look for supplies. I guess it's just gonna... I mean, food situation's thin right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of a work in progress.
Well, if we're doing a scavenging run for food, maybe see if somebody can keep an eye out for medical supplies, anything. Hell, I'll take baby aspirin at this point, but...
I mean, maybe I can tag along, see what we can find. I swallowed half a pharmacy textbook, I feel like.
Yeah. In the meantime, he's doing... It's bad, but it's better than it could be. He doesn't have a fever yet, so no infection has set in. Which is what I was mostly worried about.
Yeah, same.
But there's still time.
And being on the water's, well,
Yeah, hard to keep a bandage clean.
I'll talk to the folks in charge.
Yeah. She goes back. She turns and goes back to him. Frankie. I'm gonna say you and Shaw are sort of walking up to like one of the sort of a smaller community around here on the shore of the river. But you're able to sort of as you walk in to the community, Shaw points out a building. It says, "There, maybe that carport."
Yeah, I see it.
Door out back, the big bay door in the front. You might be able to even bring the boats up and keep them there, out of sight.
Yeah, I could do a walk around just to make sure there's nothing. No zombies crawling.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'll
I
take
hate
the
those
right
ones.
side.
All right.
Okay. So, Frankie, I would like you to make, I'd like you to make a scout roll.
Perfect. Stress?
Yes.
I don't know why I keep thinking like a large amount of time has passed since my brain...
I mean, the stress is coming from sort of the situation, not from the presence of the dead. It's more the stress of, like, the stress is coming from,
sense.
The ongoing...
Yeah, the sort of... Exactly, yeah.
So no successes, but no failures either.
Okay, cool. So,
Great lead.
oh, I should probably roll Shaw's stuff here. Okay.
Come on, Shaw.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. So the two of you sort of circle this garage, this carport, and as you do, Frankie, as you kind of come around the back, you see that there's one of the dead who's just sort of like caught up in what looks like it was probably you know those outdoor, like, playpen things that they have for, like, kids?
Oh my god.
It's like
Oh,
one of those, like,
gotcha.
kind of like, it's got like, it's like made of like netting and stuff like that, like really
Yeah.
fine netting. It's basically like caught up in one of those, and as you like come around the corner, it looks up at you and starts kind of like kind of pulling itself towards you.
Oh boy. Gotta deal with this one pretty quietly before it attracts more.
Yep. Ordinarily, I wouldn't do this, but I think I'm gonna have you make a close combat roll.
It's definitely gonna be that. I do have a knife.
Nice. I think that gives you
Call
a
that a
+1 bonus, so you can roll an additional die.
Close combat.
You get your gear bonus.
That's good because this is not like necessarily the strength character. No successes. Help stress die. Hold on, let me roll the stress. 1. Oh no! It begins.
Oh.
It begins.
Listen, y'all, in our test game that we played before this, there were so many consecutive mess ups, and it was bad.
It was so
we got
bad.
real bad. None of us died, but we were darn close.
Stress,
Yeah.
you might say.
Frankie, you kind of walk up to this thing, and as you're sort of circling it to kind of get around to like a place, you can hear Shaw approaching from kind of the other side behind you, and as you sort of like reach up with a knife to attack, you realize almost too late that you weren't hearing Shaw coming up behind you as another one sort of that you hadn't seen before reaches out, and I want you to give me a mobility roll here.
That's fine. That's fine.
Oh no. Where are the rest of us when this is...
Down by the river still.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah.
This is gonna be fine.
Sorry,
Okay,
bro.
We're good. Good success. 1 success.
Okay. With that, you at the last second dart out of the way of this attack as it sort of like lunges at you. You sort of step around and just sort of giving it a quick jab in the like back of the skull as it goes down. The other and kind of landing on top of the other one, just sort of like struggling still. You sort of have this moment where you just like your adrenaline raised as you look down at this. This time Shaw does actually come from around the other side, like also with like knife out, looking at you, looking down at that. Shit, I'm sorry. There was another one around the other side, and that one got away from me.
It's okay. Got lucky.
He walks up and looks at the other one, who's still like struggling now with the netting and the dead one on top of it. Says, "You gonna take care of that, or should I?"
You just got away, so you get this one.
He just sort of, just a quick, decisive stab. Says, "All right."
You've been keeping count, right?
Says, "Since when?"
Fair enough.
And yeah.
Frankie's going to is going to cut away at the netting, and it wants to collect the net. I don't know exactly how narrow the holes are, but I want to get as much net as possible.
yeah, they're pretty.
so
They're
it's
pretty.
like-
They're pretty little. It's like that like kids
Yep.
playpen net, so it's
Right.
like really really fine.
That's exactly what I want.
yeah.
I want to get all of it.
Yep. All right.
That baby.
That's right, baby.
Cool. Yeah, you easy enough. So you can go ahead and if you can add fine netting to your inventory. Shaw walks up to the door of the carport. At this point, I'd say, Gabby, you probably would have been also you probably would have been scouting like some other buildings. So at this point, you'd see Shaw and Frankie's find as you're like walking up. Shaw just sort of like gestures you over and gestures you to take position on the other side of the door.
Got it.
He turns the door handle and opens it very slowly, looks inside, and then takes the butt of the knife and just bangs on the door a couple times and just sort of waits. There's a pause. No sounds from inside. So he nods, says, "Clear, I think."
I'll go in. Probably got a flashlight.
Okay.
Doing like the flashlight with the pistol, because for some reason I don't have a knife. I did not roll a knife.
Nope.
I've got 3 guns. So I'm gonna use my pistol, because that's the sneakiest of the 3.
Fair enough. Yeah, you step inside the carport, and it is not particularly large. It's like a standard like 2-car garage, basically.
I'll do like the little hook maneuver so we can like clear the room.
Yeah. Yeah. Shaw kind of like hugging the wall to like the opposite wall as you sort of like make your way around. Luckily there's not a whole lot of places anything could be particularly hiding in here. It's just sort of one big kind of open space. There isn't even a car in here. But yeah, mostly you see shelves with some like rusty tools and things like that, like some pieces of garden hose, what looks like garden hose that looks all like kind of cracked and weathered. But yeah, after just like a minute or two, the two of you were able to like determine the place is clear, and start bringing the rest up.
Yep. We have a way to like tether the boats by the wall.
You could, but
like anchor 'em.
But Shaw's suggestion is basically to like bring the boats up to the carport as well, and just sort of keep them inside. So yeah.
There's no space for them. Yeah. There would be plenty of space in there. It sounds
Absolutely,
like, so.
yeah. So with that, you all kind of having a place to kind of keep the people who are staying behind in relative safety. Who's going on a scouting run or on a scavenging run? Frankie, Gabby, Casey. All right.
I mean, I want to say that Basil goes, but again, I would feel bad. Like, okay, so for
You're
a
a leader.
I know
You're
that's what I'm saying.
commander now.
I would feel bad. Like, it's like, oh, psych, bye, everybody. Like,
Don't pull up a card and join the landing party.
But this is also a show. This is also a show.
In fairness, just to like put this in the context of other zombie media, Rick Grimes was constantly throwing himself, like going out there and putting himself in front of things in The Walking Dead. So
it's such a dumb trope that the commanding officer, whoever's in charge, also is going on like the scouting and the excursion party. Like, what happens if something happens to you? And with this system, something could happen.
Basil's just like, I can't take this life chained to a desk. Damn it, Jim.
But it's up to you entirely, Bree. So there's equal justification in either direction. So
I think in this moment, I think Basil's gonna go because I don't want it to just be me being silent over here.
Fair enough.
So
Shaw and Hall will probably like kind of be in charge in your absence.
Yeah.
Yes, I would put Shaw and Hall in charge while I'm on sort of.
Hall, who we have established, is terrifying.
He's terrifying.
Terrifying, yes. You see Nick comes up to you as you guys are getting ready to go. He says, he goes, hey, says, I want to come with you guys.
What for? I mean, we want to keep it smallish. Not that you're, not.
Listen, if you guys get into trouble out there, you're gonna need an extra arm. At the very least, somebody to watch your back.
We also need people staying behind to protect the other.
What were you saying, Freeman?
gonna say, do I know Nick personally, like from any
I mean,
interactions, or is
You,
this...
yeah, you know him. He's fine. He's sort of one of those people that like he's an acquired taste, sort of somebody that you gotta. He has sometimes been problematic only because he's doesn't have a whole lot of respect for a lot of people. And also has been known, he's one of those people who likes to like needle people. He not somebody who he doesn't necessarily pick fights, but he does like to needle people, particularly when he doesn't like them and knows he can get a rise out of them. But otherwise, like, he's a skilled fighter. Yeah.
How many people do we have staying behind to defend?
Um,
right now, we have
Got-
Shaw and we have Hall, and
Yep.
that's it, right?
Pretty much. I mean, everybody can fight to some extent, but like as far as like your best, it's them really and Nick. Nick, you also know, Freeman, you also know that Nick is pretty. The only person that he really actually genuinely likes and respects is Demian. And from what little you've been able to get out of them, like they've been together pretty much since this started. Like they've watched each other's backs for a while. Sort of a bit of an odd pairing, the two of them. This sort of like older Demian, who was a drifter in what before this all started. Very much like the calmer, level head of the two. But yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I want to stay behind and watch your friend's back. We don't exactly need a lot of fighters in this situation. We're trying to be quiet.
He nods.
Camp,
Says,
you know what? You know what I'm going to say. Like if the camp, gets overrun.
says, he shakes his head and just sort of looks over at Demian. Says, I just feel useless here, I can't do much besides...
Well, I'll say when it comes to recovering, a friendly face is never a bad thing to have at a bedside. But are you really here to help us, or are you looking for something specific?
He sort of sighs and just shakes his head and says, just feel useless as all. But you're right. I'll stay here just in case.
Before you go, and Frankie's going to rifle through his bag once again. And once again, from the bag, pull a bottle of moonshine, and just give it to him and say you found this somewhere.
He takes it and says,
See if it's useful.
Holy shit. He opens it and just... Whew.
Shit'll make you go blind, man.
Ooh,
Hey.
ooh.
Frankie.
He's,
It's got purpose, not just drinking. I wouldn't drink it personally.
Multi-purpose liquid. That's all it is.
I mean, if some were to go missing before you delivered some of that to, like, Kay,
Okay.
or, like, sterilization.
he says, yeah, not really my thing, but I'll see if the nurse can use it. Says, thanks.
Disinfect the wound
Welcome.
at least.
Hey, thank you for keeping the others safe. Obviously, we all know we lost a lot of people. And knowing that you can fight, I know at least makes me feel a little bit better. That you're keeping an eye on the others. Because we've lost too many already, and we've lost a lot of others. So, you're not useless. Staying behind is not useless at all. What happens if we send all of our best fighters out there and we get fucked over? Then everyone behind is defenseless. they're depending on us, even more so now. So thank you.
He looks at you, Gabby, and just nods. He says, he kind of looks over his shoulder to where everybody else is. He says, "Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on your brother.
Teach him a few tricks for me.
Trust me, you don't want me to teach him anything I know."
I don't know. I think these days we could use a lot of creative skill sets.
That's
Just
That's a
don't
good way of
let
putting
him
it.
drink the multi-purpose liquid.
I don't want to drink this.
No one should.
He does go back to the group.
If I find like an old bottle of liquor, I'm definitely peeling off the Surgeon General's warning for that thing.
Oh my god. No more little bottles of Fireball.
God, I wish. We're so many years past where we can just find those in gas stations.
Never know.
There's a
maybe
moment
find a
as-
factory.
There's a moment as a specific memory of stepping into a gas station, Casey grabbing the little bottles with Kit.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, Casey makes that joke, and then it, like, they smile, and then it hits them before it can get to their eyes, and
Oh, we're losing
Probably
daylight.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay. You all continue on into Canyon City proper, walking along the streets of the deserted neighborhoods, heading for a place to scavenge some food. And I think it's a little shorter than we would normally go, but I think for the purposes of right now, this is a good place to stop.
We're on the road to Canyon City.
Our first adventure.
It's the OG4 again.
That the
Yeah.
whole time.
Like I had
It's the first quest.
I had to like, oh man, part of me was like, it would make no sense for Basil to go, but I can't, like, it can't be a whole episode where Basil like, and bye everybody.
I'll be sitting back here.
For the purposes of your knowledge, for the going forward, I like this choice for this. For the going forward, there will always be things that can happen when you split the party. So like, it's not, if you don't ever make the decision based on like feeling like you're going to be sitting out, because that will almost never happen. So
I expected, but it's also like, it's our first mission.
No,
we gotta go. I gotta
makes
go.
sense here.
Time's sake.
All right, everyone. Normally this is the part of the stream where I would say we'll see you next week, but I genuinely do not currently know our airing schedule. So
That's so true. This is wild. We're talking from the
one of the
past,
fun
future.
aspects of pre-recording is that we have no idea what our actual airing schedule will look like. So all I will say is we'll see you next time. Thank you all for tuning in to the beginning of Tomorrow is Dead Season 2. I'm very excited for the season as we go on. We got some exciting twists and turns coming along the way. So yeah, thanks so much everybody, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.